I once again solicit your support to allow the bill be read a second time to ensure that our poor passengers, our poor commuters are protected on the road. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be read the second time. Those in favor of it say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill. Clerk, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act provide a framework for the promotion, protection, and providing safety and enforcement of rights and obligations of commercial commuters protection bill 2023, second reading.
Thank you. The bill is referred to Committee on Land Transport. Leader, as I have a handshake with our guests, you have to move for the exit of our visitors who want to have their lunch, and then I'll see them again around 3 o'clock. Honorable members are invited to join us as we receive them during their courtesy call. Leader, please move.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do allow the exits of our visitors from the Parliament in Saudi Arabia till 3 o'clock when we have lunch with them. I so move.
We will give 1 minute to our invited guests to just say hello to us all the way from Saudi Arabia before he's eating. Please, we'll just allow them 1 or 2 minutes to say hello to us. So the podium is free for them to address us. Yes, please. You can stand beside him, let him make a speech. Please, can you check his microphone? Who is the technical person in charge? Check his microphone. Our guests must be heard in silence.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Really, brother, it's really a great opportunity to be with you today. We have seen the people and the country as our great friend, my colleague and myself. Very happy to be with you today, working hand to hand in order to enhance our parliamentary relation. Really, we look to the country as a country that we should strong our relation. We should strong our strategic relation. It is one of the most important country, not in Africa, but for all over the world, really looking forward to also push more for signing the agreements that enhance the relation. Our chairman in Saudi Arabia giving us the right to push this relation into our interest, both of us looking for more prosperity economically, in terms of social as well, and in terms of trade, commercial, oil and gas, and infrastructure, and the green initiative. Thank you for all you today, Your Excellency, to give us this opportunity. Thank you so much.
The motion to exit need to be seconded by Mayake as they exit. Please, second it.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I stand to second the motion that we allow our visitors to exit the chamber. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, our August visitors, and we wish you a safe trip when you travel back to Saudi Arabia. Honorable colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish Akano Federal University of Technology, Owana, to provide training and teaching instructions in every aspect of education and other fields of applied learning, relevant to the needs of the development of education in Nigeria, matters of administration, and discipline of students, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Igariwe Iduma Enwo, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 19th October, 2023. And I invite Honorable Enwo to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Enwo, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. My name is Right Honorable Igariwe Iduma Enwo. I represent Afipo and Edda Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, with respect, I rise this morning to move that a bill for an act to establish Akanibiam Federal University of Science and Technology, Owana, to provide training and teaching instruction in every aspect of education and other fields of applied learning relevant to the needs of the development of education in Nigeria, matters of administration and discipline of students, and for related matters, be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Oga, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. I remain Right Honorable Comrade Chinedu Ogao, and I represent...
That's okay, Honorable Dasuki. The chair wants you.
I represent Iko Ezasa Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Ebonyi State. I rise to second this very good bill, moved by my brother, Right Honorable Idu Igarewe, that this bill should be allowed to read for the second reading. I hereby second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Igariwe, you may now lead your motion, please. Lead your debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this bill is fairly, very straightforward, and I won't take much of our time. I think the most important thing for me to emphasize is that this is not an establishment bill. So there is no worry, there is no fear of any drain on our national economy, especially at this point in time. Mr. Speaker, Akanibiam Federal Polytechnic was established way back in 1981 and is one of the leading polytechnics in the Republic of Nigeria. So, Mr. Speaker, all we seek to do, all this bill is seeking, is an upgrade of the status of Akanibian Federal Polytechnic to a University of Science and Technology. Mr. Speaker, we may all recall that if we look at our legislative agenda for the 10th House of Representatives, there is emphasis on science and technology because we know the primacy, we know the importance of science and technology in pushing our economy and our overall development forward. We have listed some of the advantages we stand to gain if we have this upgrade of Akanibian Federal Polytechnic to a University of Science and Technology. They include special education, research and innovation, economic growth, and global competitiveness. So, Mr. Speaker, and my very respected colleagues, I urge you to kindly support this bill. It is not an establishment bill, as I have earlier said, so it's not going to be any drain whatsoever. Rather, it will help generally in putting this country where we all dream that this country should be, especially in this age of blockchain, in this age of artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth. So I urge you,
honorable colleagues, please,
to support that this
maintain
bill
silence, please.
passes through the second reading. I so submit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the question is the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill. Clerk, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Akan Federal University of Technology, Unwana, to provide training and teaching instruction in every aspect of education and other fields of applied learning, relevant to the needs of the development of education in Nigeria, matters of administration and discipline of students and for related matters. Second reading.
Thank you, Clerk. The bill is referred to Committee on University Education. The fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Professional Bodies Special Provision Act Cap 33, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, to include Nigerians and 3% charges from all fees paid to professionals listed in this act by public and corporate organization and remit same to the Professional Bodies Association and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Akitunde Rotimi, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 27 July 2023. And I invite Honorable Rotimi to move that the bill be now read a second time. Honorable Rotimi, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Akitunde Rotimi Jr., and I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency, comprising Ikole and Oye local governments. Mr. Speaker, I rise to request that the bill for an act to amend the Professional Bodies Special Provision Act, Laws of Federation of Nigeria, to include Nigerians and 3% charges from all fees paid to professionals listed in this act by public and corporate organizations be read for a second time, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this motion? Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Dixon Taki. I represent Makodi Guma Federal Constituency from Benue State. Speaker, I rise to second the bill as ably read by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. Those in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may now lead your debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, the Principal Act, the Professional Bodies Special Provision Act of 2004, is an essential legislative instrument that establishes the legal structure governing the operations and regulation of professional bodies in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, you recollect that the federal government, through the Budget Office, had announced that they're going to seize the funding of professional bodies. Mr. Speaker, this puts our professional bodies in a very difficult position for them to be able to sustainably fund their activities and properly regulate the practice of their members. In a situation whereby their funding from government is taken away without a replacement, it puts them in jeopardy. Mr. Speaker, I'm proposing through this amendment to this act that 3% of charges that professionals have, when dealing with government and corporate organizations, should be deducted at source and remitted to these professional bodies to allow them to be able to sustainably run those organizations, Mr. Speaker. Amongst other provisions, this would allow for the professional bodies, imagine something like Koren, that regulates the practice of engineering. If they're not even able to keep the lights on, if they're not able to sustainably run, they would have an issue regulating the practice of engineers in Nigeria. So that is the main crux of this amendment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Do you people have the copy of the bill? Yes, Honorable Ikenga. But I asked the question, do you have copies of the bill? Because minority of the Deputy Chief Whip is raising it. If you want to raise it properly, madam.
Mr. Speaker, on that question you asked.
Please, Ikenga, please, 1 minute.
Okay.
Ikenga, you may sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Highly respected colleagues, my name is Right Honorable Dr. Otumba Yeyoba Adewumi Oriyomi.
Emphasis on doctor.
No. Emphasis on the doctor, sir. I represent the fabulous United People of Ikenne, Shagamu, and Remo North. I am from Ogun State. And I just wanted to state that we do not have a copy of the bill that is being asked to be read for the second time, so we cannot follow what the honorable member is saying, sir. So it's important that we have a copy of the bill so we can follow him.
Honorable Rotimi, the spokesperson, there is a position here that the copies were not circulated.
Mr. Speaker, if I may,
if you have it, raise. If you have the copy of this bill, please raise it. If you have the copy of the bill, raise it. So it was not well circulated.
Mr. Speaker, if I may, sir. As you know, in line with parliamentary practice, this bill has been gazetted and adequately circulated. Yes, it might not have been distributed today, but we also need to be cognizant of the trees. One of the objectives of the legislative agenda, sir, is climate change. We don't need to print huge numbers of copies if this document has been properly gazetted and circulated, Mr. Speaker.
Like we had here severally, this issue of circulating bills has been a precedent that we set here. It affected Honorable Sada Saleh, it affected the leader of the House, and I'm afraid it's going to affect this bill, so that we get it into our culture and parliamentary practice that this procedure as outlined in our rules should be complied with. Because we said, we read yesterday and we said, and copies circulated. It's a provision. It was not an alternative. It was an addition. So until we edit our order of the House, the rules of our house and remove that or make it an alternative, there will always be the need for members to have copies of the bill so that they can speak to it. So based on that, I may...
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Speaker, I would like to...
Wait, I have not recognized you for right of reply.
Okay,
I
sir.
want to recognize Honorable Sada Soli.
Mr. Speaker, reference to Order 12, 2, 1, and 2, Mr. Speaker, this responsibility lies on the shoulder of the clerk of the House. That's what the rule says. Mr. Speaker, if we do not employ some discretionary decision of the House, I don't think way forward there will be any bill that will be discussed on this floor. Mr. Speaker, give me a bill in the morning because the bill appears on the order paper. It's not an excuse with reference to our order. The order book said a copy, first issue, shall be sent to every member, not to be given to member in the morning of the debate. Mr. Speaker, we must be, either we have to be flexible with our rules, or we enforce the position of the rules. But if we do that, I don't think we'll take any second reading of any bill in this House. So I think it's something for the leadership to sit down and come up with an acceptable decision. Otherwise, we do not even respect the position of the
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Please, the place you just mentioned now is Order 12, Rule 2, Sub 2. Specifically on Sub 2. Any member who wishes to move a motion for leave to bring in a bill shall give notice of provisions proposed to be embodied in the bill to the clerk, who shall cause them to be published in the official gazette or House Journal, and shall send a copy of the first of such issues to every member. Now, that the clerk did not do it does not exonerate the compliance. It's for the clerk, the secretary, to take note, and it is also for the promoter of the bill, the sponsor of the bill, to ensure that he communicated the clerk. All right? So if the sponsor of the bill says, I have communicated the clerk, the onus shifts, the burden shifts from the sponsor of the bill to the secretariat. And I am sure that that communication to the clerk is via the Committee on Rules and Business, who will cause it to be published through the secretariat. So if that has been done and members don't have it, you cannot continue with that bill until that procedure is fulfilled. Waving it up and down will get to a point where you won't even be aware that it has not been gazetted, and we'll be here debating it. Rules and Business, you have something to say, please.
Thank you very much for the privilege, Mr. Speaker. There are two things members must be aware of. Number one, when you bring a bill, we propose a bill, the first thing that happens is that it's scrutinized and gazetted. When that has been done, it's published in that journal. It is deemed to have been circulated. Every member has a pigeonhole in the White House, and copies of the journals are usually placed in your pigeonhole. That is the standard practice. If your staff, the clerk has even gone further to post on the platform, but the standard practice is that it is placed in your pigeonhole. Once it is printed and circulated in that manner, nobody will bring it to your office or your house. Once that has been done and it has been printed, it is placed in your pigeonhole, whether you collect it or not, it is deemed to have been circulated. That's the standard practice of Parliament, and that is being done.
Thank you.
When we came in June, this 10th assembly, there was this rush. In one day, you will get 100 bills proposed. You get 50 bills in one day. Mr. Speaker, in his magnanimity, now said we should waive the scrutiny and gazetting until second reading. That is why we now had over 1,000 bills without scrutiny and gazetting. During the holidays, we now worked on this to ensure that every bill has been gazetted. And during this period, the rule is that you don't come for second reading until your bill has been gazetted. And because we had so many at stake, it was now required that you attach that copy of your gazetted to your lead debate. That would be our evidence that it was actually gazetted. But it is not a requirement in our practice that you attach it. I stand here to say that any bill that is on second reading has been gazetted. Otherwise, I will not list it for second reading. And once it has been gazetted, it is deemed to have been circulated. If you don't go to your pigeonhole, that's another issue.
It's enough.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. It is not deemed. Gazetting it does not mean it is deemed to have been distributed. But if you say dropping it in all the pigeonholes of the members suffices, and we will agree with you. If there is an evidence to show that members' pigeonholes have gotten this delivery, then it is deemed to have been circulated, because you may not have time and the resources to go to all the rooms, and you may not even have the time to print every bill and start sharing it here. But it is the responsibility of the sponsors. That is why you are a sponsor of a bill. You don't just drop it at the clerk and then you go home and sleep. It's one of the things that you're expected to do. Follow up your bill, find out the distribution ahead of time before the day it comes to the parliament. So for now, the chairman rules and business is saying this bill has been circulated. We will accept his position on this because he said it has been circulated. It is now left for you members to confirm when you go to your pigeonhole and to also advise your aides to always visit the pigeonhole so that you always have access to these particular bills that we want to debate. Having said that, we will allow this debate to go on just for this one, and hoping that we will apply the rules in its entirety going forward. Honorable Ikenga, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm actually opposing the bill, Mr. Speaker. The reason is that, recently government have been working so hard on reducing costs.
Has it been seconded?
Yes.
Good.
He has already led this. Government have been working so hard on reducing the cost of running government. And that was what led to the Steve Orasenye report, which recommended that those professional bodies should be delisted from government funding. And I agree that there's no need for us to keep funding professional bodies. For instance, if you look at the way MBA runs their operations, they're able to raise their funding from members, a lot of money, running into billions. So if you have society of engineers and you have qualified engineers, they should be able to make payments to their professional bodies. If we have nurses or whatever association, they should be able to raise funding to run their body. I don't think we should keep creating windows for deduction of 1%, 2%, 3% here and there to keep funding all these bodies that can be, embark on self-funding. So I say in the spirit of the part that our legislative agenda is working on reducing cost of running government, that there's no need to get involved in funding these professional bodies. We should strengthen their laws to allow them to raise their funding independently, like MBA and the Doctors Union and other groups. Even NLC is also raising their funding, among themselves. So we don't need to continue to get involved in how these professional bodies raise their funding. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Is any other person speaking against this bill? The bill is saying professional bodies, MBA, Nigerian Medical Council, Nurses Association, journalists, all of these professional bodies, 3% of the money that is gotten from there, from in the cost of rendering service to the public or corporate bodies, 3% should go to government. All the professional bodies, yes. The professional bodies, Nigerian Society of Engineers, medical doctors, MBA, when they raise money, 30% of it should go to, they should be charged 3% that will go to government coffers. And that is the debate here. Ikenga is saying no, that it is much on the organizations. We need to get, is there another person speaking against this bill? Yes, Honorable Faleke, please. The Chairman Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, as beautiful as it looks, to assist government in raising funds, the situation we find ourselves now, if we add 3%, if we take 3% from the professional bodies, those professional bodies will charge the clients the same additional 3%. So it's like increasing cost, you know, and I think that what we should be doing now is to find a way of reducing cost and allow the economy to grow in a way that ordinarily Nigerians will be willing to pay tax. You know, that's my own, I think that we should step down this bill as it is now, you know, in the interest of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Faleke. Honorable Faleke, thank you for, yes, Honorable Solly.
And Mr. Speaker, and also,
after that, working.
And also this bill should take into cognizance the provisions of the Procurement Act, because it says also contract, then also contract fees and charges will increase. And where will it be accommodated within the provisions of the Procurement Act, this 3%? Where will it be accommodated? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Weke.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mweke Felix Uche. I represent Eleme Tai and Oyibo Federal Constituency. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'd like to be brief. This bill, I will advise my good friend Akin Rotimi to step it down. My thinking is just like associate myself with Honorable Faleke. If you charge 2%, 3%, you are transferring the charge to clients. It's just like removal of subsidy. Have we removed subsidy? Yes. The subsidy is being paid by Nigerian citizens. That is the truth. We are the ones paying that 500 and something billion that they use in subsidizing subsidy. Nigerians are paying it. If you now say a lawyer, MPA should, you charge them 3%. When you go to consult a lawyer, he will give you that bill. He will transfer it to you. The best, since they are independent, let them be independent, generate their own revenue and manage themselves. So the best thing to do in this circumstance is for our friend to step down this bill. Otherwise, I will urge members to kill it. Thank you.
Are you a killer? You want to make us killers? Yeah. Is anybody supporting the bill? Honorable spokesperson of the House, would you like to step down the bill? Because the argument of Honorable Faleke, which have been supported, is actually very sound. He says, considering the mood of the nation and the economic situation of the nation, which was not caused by this administration, which was inherited from past maladministration of our economy. That if you add extra costs, that you are transferring it to the shoulders of Nigerians who are already carrying a lot on their shoulders as a burden. For the sake of the citizens of this country, do you still want to go ahead with this bill, or do we step it down for proper consultation and maybe strengthening?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In difference to honorable colleagues and senior colleagues, I'd like to step down this bill for further consultation. I understand the unintended consequences of this bill, but we still need to look at how professional bodies can be sustainably funded after federal government removes funding support. So I'd like to move that this motion be stepped down, since it has been killed already.
Thank you very much. You're a gentleman, you're a sound legislator. We appreciate you for understanding the mood of the House and the mood of the nation. Bill is stepped down by the leave of the House. The sixth order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill to establish Federal College of Health Technology, Song, Adamawa State, and for related matters, which is standing in the name of Honorable Aliyu Wakili Boya. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 28 November 2023. I now invite Honorable Boya to move that the bill be read the second time. Honorable Boya, are you in the House?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Barrister Ali Wakili Boya, a member representing Fufore Song Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Adamawa State. I rise to request a bill to be establishment of Federal College of Health Technology, Song, in Adamawa State and for related matters, Mr. Speaker.
I so moves.
I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder? Yes, the tall man beside him. You, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Architect Usman Murtala Banye, member representing people of Batagarawa, Charanchi, Rimi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Katsina State. I rise to second a motion that this bill should be read for the second time. I so second.
Motion moved and seconded. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. It's a straightforward bill. Do you want to lead the debate, or we'll leave it according to what you have proposed in your lead debate?
According to what I proposed, Mr. Speaker.
You are going by that?
Thank you.
It's an establishment bill, so let's just put the question. The question is that the bill be read a second time. Those in favor of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill. Clerk, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Health Technology, Song, Adamawa State, and for related matters. Second reading.
Thank you very much, Clerk. The bill is referred to Committee on Commerce. No, not Committee of Commerce, please. This is referred to Committee on Health Institution, please. Health Institutions. The seventh order of the day is a motion on the need to consider the recruitment of community policing constabulary scheme and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps volunteers into the Nigerian Police Force and Civil Defense Corps, standing in the name of Honorable Suleiman Abubakar Gumi. Honorable Gumi is invited to move the motion. Honorable Gumi, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Dr. Suleiman Abubakar Gumi. I represent the good people of Gumi, Bukuyum Federal Constituency. I'm from Zamfara State. Mr. Speaker, this motion seeks to consider the recruitment of community policing constabulary scheme and Nigerian civil security and civil defense corps volunteers into the Nigerian Police Force and Civil Defense Corps, respectively. The House notes that the proposal put up by the federal government and the 36 state governors to recruit 500,000 volunteers across the 774 local government areas of the country through the N-Power program was designed to tackle the shortage of manpower in the Nigerian police force. Also notes that the Nigerian police force spokesman Muyiwa Adejobi stated in August 24, 2022, that the volunteers working and trained by the Nigerian police are not direct employees or personnel of the police, but of their respective communities, hence not entitled to salary but allowances. Aware that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in line with his electioneering campaign, aimed at strengthening the Nigerian police towards optimal functionality in resolving the insecurity challenge in Nigeria, gave approval for the annual recruitment of 10,000 personnel into the force. Also aware that the chairman of the Police Service Commission, Solomon Arase, recently inaugurated an 11-man board saddled with the recruitment of police constables into the Nigerian police force, observed that the implementation of community policing strategies across the country was to focus on building strong ties between the police and the members of the communities through interaction with local agencies and members of the public, thus creating partnership and strategies for reducing crime and disorder. Cognizant of the need to prioritize experience as a tool in police and civil
Please go to your
defense,
prayers.
I'm getting to that. It's the last paragraph. Defense Corps recruitment and consider employing members of the community policing constabulary scheme, volunteers and NSCDC volunteers who have demonstrated commendable performance during recruitment exercises. The House resolves to urge the Chairman, Police Service Commission and Inspector General of Police to strongly consider members of the community policing constabulary scheme who are volunteers who have diligently performed their duties for recruitment into the Nigerian police force during recruitment exercise. Also urge the Minister of Interior and the Commandant of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to strongly consider NSCDC volunteers who have diligently performed their duties for recruitment into the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps during recruitment exercises. And finally, mandate the committees on police affairs and interior to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this motion? Or amendment before I ask the question? Good. Let us have a second. Yes. My brother from Imo State, no.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Your Excellency, and my honorable colleagues. I salute you. My name is Honorable High Chief Kenny Small Chukwu Gozie Nwachukwu. I am from Imo State, and I represent the great people of Olo, Osu, and Oru East Federal Constituency. I rise to second this great motion, heavily moved by my friend. I so second. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some people have amendment before I put the question. Yes, you, Ajiro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I remain Honorable Umar Ajilo, member representing the very good people of Makarfi-Kudan Federal Constituency. I am from Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, my amendment here is the Police Service Commissions directly under the Committee of Police Institutions. So my amendment here is to mandate the Committee on Police Affairs and Interior. I think it's supposed to be to mandate the Committee of Police Institutions to consider this. I think this is my amendment.
You want to add police institution?
Yes, police institutions directly, any recruitment and police service commission directly under the police institutions. That's my amendment.
Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Salis Yusuf Majigiri. I represent Mashidusi Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Katsina State. I rise to second the motion for amendment as moved by Honorable Umar Ajilo. I so move, Mr. Speaker. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Police Affairs and Interior, as well as police institution. Honorable colleagues, the eighth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the operation of telemedicine practitioners in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Blessing Chigeru Amade. Honorable Amade is invited to move the motion.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. I am Blessing Chigeru Amade, representing Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2, and a woman from River State. My motion brings thus a need to investigate the operations of telemedicine practitioners in Nigeria. The House knows that telemedicine is a fast-growing area of healthcare with significant potential for improving access to healthcare and well-being of people by reducing delays in accessing health care due to time, distance, location. It ensures that a person with limited access to care receives health care services when needed. The House also notes that telemedicine companies have been operating in Nigeria for about a decade and is fast growing. The House observes that Nigeria's National Health Act of 2014 was signed into law to provide a legal framework for the regulation, development, and management of Nigeria health system. The House is aware that the legal framework covers patient safety and quality of care, data protection and privacy, verification of medical license and qualifications, ethical considerations, covering consent and confidentiality. The House is worried that there is no legal framework for telemedicine operators in Nigeria. Some providers have been asking for a blueprint guidance, while some are using the information gathered from the United Kingdom. The House is concerned that lack of specific legal framework for telemedicine operators could potentially put Nigerians in significant risk. The House believes that telemedicine has a huge potential and will benefit the country due to shortage of clinicians to meet the demands in the country. The House resolves that and urges the Federal Ministry of Health and the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to undertake a research on the operations of telemedicine practitioners in Nigeria and to mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services to convene a legislative summit with all stakeholders in the telemedicine and policymakers to facilitate the process of creating a legal framework for telemedicine operators in Nigeria and to report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Please hurry. Some people want to go for the special day today. Yeah, the one keeping us. It's not the chair that's keeping you nice. See how long it's taking you to talk. Okay. If you are not... Let the man that has the mic speak. If your mic is working, you can...
Can I speak?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Muhammad Sani, and I represent the good people of the Colorado Ferry constituency. I'm from the state. I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. Say second. Thank you.
Speaking to your mic, they are not hearing you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I remain Muhammad Sani. I represent the very good people of Bokuro Morado Ferry constituency, and I'm from Zamfara State. I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a straightforward motion that telemedicine is gaining ground in Nigeria and is helping to serve the unserved health-wise. But suffice that to say that regulation is needed in that space, especially through legal framework. Let's hear the amendment before we rule on this. But you must know that whenever we observe lack of legal framework, we don't come via motion, we come with law, because we are lawmakers. But in this case, I think you want to partner with the Committee on Health to be able, through the processes you provided, to be able to bring out a law that will fit into that space. Let me hear you, please. And that will be the final on this. Please speak to a microphone. You are being recorded. The technical people, look at our microphone. Members are complaining. Secretariat, reach out to the technical people. Clerk, reach out to the technical people. The microphones are not working. You can change your seat if that microphone is not working. We can't wait for too long. Can you approach forward so they can make a contribution? We don't have time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Isa Muhammad Anka, representing Anka.
You meant Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Not Chairman.
Mr. Speaker.
We are not in committee of the whole.
Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm from Zamfara State. My amendment is very straightforward. Under the resolution number 2, where the mover says to convene a legislative summit. I want to advise that the word legislative be expunged because you have a legal framework there, so that it will read, mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services to convene a summit with all the stakeholders in order to facilitate the process of creating a legal framework. Thank you, sir.
Any seconder to this amendment? Any seconder? Yes, Okonkwo, your mic is closed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Uchenna Harris Okonkwo,
member representing Idemili North. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is referred to Committee on Health Care Services. The ninth order of the day is a motion on the need to rehabilitate Bakolori Dam at Talata, Mafara, and Maradum local government areas of Zamfara State. This is standing in the name of Honorable Issa Muhammad Anka. Honorable Anka is invited to move the motion, and knowing that it is an infrastructure motion, we just want you to give us the title and then the prayers because our time is fast spent.
Thank you very much.
Please, Chairman, Rules and Business, next Valentine's Day, don't populate the other paper. Make it as light as possible before the wives start coming to chamber. Just joking.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, and the honorable colleagues, for giving me this opportunity to present this motion that has a multiplier effect, looking at the title of the motion itself, that there is a need to rehabilitate Bakolori Dam at Talata, Mafara, and Maradu local government areas of Zamfara State. The House notes that Bakolori Dam was completed.
We want you to go to your prayers. It's infrastructure. Prayer.
Commissioned in 1978 and 1982, respectively. Based on that, the House is resolved to mandate the Committee on Water Resources to liaise with the management of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Sokoto Rima Basin, and Bakolori Dam to access the rehabilitation needs with a view to rehabilitating it for optimum utilization. The House is also mandated or resolved to mandate the Committee on Power to collaborate with the Management of Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, Sokoto Rima Basin, and Bakolori Dam to investigate and revive hydropower potentials. The House is also mandated to further mandate the Committee on Water Resources and Power to ensure securitization, which is a very, very good
Where is that one coming from?
arrangement for all power and water projects.
No.
Slated for public
Excuse me,
privatization.
Honorable colleague. Once your motion is on notice, you must stay within the boundaries of that notice. It's prayer 1 and prayer 2. Don't add extra prayer to it.
Sir, it's prayer 1, 2, and 3 last week.
No, what we have is prayer 1 and 2.
I think there
Are you
was-
having prayer 3?
I'm having prayer 3 here, sir.
The one that have been approved by the Rules and Business is prayer 1 and 2. So limit it to that so that you can be seconded. Unless you can come via amendment and include that. You can include prayer 3, but you come via amendment after seconding what you have done. Is that okay?
Okay, I so move, sir.
Thank you very much, my brother. We need somebody to second it. Yes, the Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesuwa Sawaru, representing the good people of Orion Wode Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm a proud Benin Chief from Edo State. I rise to second this motion, ably moved by my colleague, Honorable Issa Mohammed Anka. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uchenna Harris Okonkwo, representing Idemili North and South. That's in Anambra State, sir. I rise to amend and add prayer 3 to the motion already taken by our brother, which should read, further mandate the committees on water resources and power to ensure securitization arrangements for all power and water projects slated for public-private partnerships in line with gas sector procurement. I so amend.
Any seconder to this amendment? Yes, Gombe Speaker.
Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker, my fellow colleagues, I'm Right Honorable Ino Garba, a member representing Yamato Federal Constituency from Gombe State. I rise to second the amendment heavily proposed by my colleague. I second, sir.
I so second.
I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Water Resources and Power. Honorable colleagues, the 10th order of the day, which is also an infrastructure motion, which should be the title and the prayers, is a motion on the need to complete the abandoned Ayela, Ayede, Efire Road, Spur, Ondo State, in Ogun State, waterside. Standing in the name of Honorable Joseph Adebison, Honorable Adebison is invited to move the motion.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Engineer Joseph Olorinsho Adegbeson, representing the Ijebu North, Ijebu East, Ogun Waterside, Federal Constituency. I rise this afternoon to move a motion on the need to complete the abandoned Ayila Ayede Efire Road, Spur, Ondo State, Ogun Waterside, Federal, Waterside of my Federal Constituency. The House notes that the current level of abandoned project in Nigeria is alarming and negatively impacting the country's infrastructural development. Also note that this menace is preventing Nigeria from receiving benefit from the proceeds of their taxes and national resources.
Your prayers, please. It's infrastructure.
Let me just complete this.
Finish your second paragraph, then go to prayers.
Yes, thank you, sir. Taxes and national resources. Those statistics show that currently over 56 projects worth over 12 trillion naira are abandoned at different locations in the country. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to prioritize and ensure that adequate budgetary provision is made in the 2025 budget estimates to comprehensively address the completion of the project, and also resolved to mandate the committees on works and Federal Road Maintenance Agency to conduct an overview assessment of the abandoned project, to include the scope of work, date of commencement, contract value, amount spent, and stage of work, and ensure that necessary measures are put in place to ensure Reynolds Construction Company Limited return to the field and complete the project, and report back to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much for moving that infrastructure motion. I would like to have, not you, Mnaji, you, my brother. No, not you. Yes. Let's hear your voice. It's been a while. You can move to another seat quickly so that we can proceed. We want to leave here as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Yusuf Kure Baraje, member representing Boso Paikoro Federal Constituency of Niger State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, and I so second Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, my brother, honorable colleague. As it is an infrastructure motion, I'll just go ahead to put the question. Those in support of the motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Works and Federal Road Maintenance Agency. The 11th order of the day is a motion on need to curb the number of out-of-school children, standing in the name of Honorable Olami Juworo Ayodeji Alo Akala. Honorable Akala is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Olami Juworo Ayodeji Alo Akala.
This your motion is too long. You have to abridge it.
Representing the good people of Ogumosho North, South, Orire constituency. Mr. Speaker, from Oyo State. Happy Valentine's, Mr. Speaker, and my honorable colleagues. The need to curb the number of out-of-school children. The House notes that education is a fundamental right of every child, yet thousands of Nigerian children are being deprived of their basic human rights. Also note that the provisions of right to education in Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, though regarded as non-justiciable by Chapter 6 of the Constitution, have been given effect and made justiciable by other domestic laws such as the Compulsory Universal Basic Education Act 2004 and the Child's Rights Act of 2003. Recall that the 1991 Convention of the Right of the Child was domesticated into Nigerian law and passed by the National Assembly in July 2003 as the Child Rights Act of 2003, CRA. Also recall the Section 15 of the CRA provides that every child has the right to free, compulsory, and universal basic education, and it shall be the duty of the government in Nigeria to provide such education, while Section 2.1 of the UBEC Act provides that every government in Nigeria shall provide free, compulsory, and universal basic education for every child of primary and junior secondary school age. Cognizant that the UNESCO Institute of Statistics approximated 258 million out of school children are out of school globally, with sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia being of most affected regions. Also cognizant that the issue of out-of-school children is a multifaceted problem with far-reaching consequences. Further cognizant of the significant role and obligation of parents and guardians in the prompt attendance of their children and wards in school, as well as consequences of their failure as captured in Section 2, and 4, respectively, of the UBEC Act. Concerned that the actualization of promoting the right of education is bedeviled by issues such as low enrollment of children, particularly the girl child, low completion of basic education, shortage and poor quality infrastructure of schools, amongst others. Believe that education plays a crucial role in the breaking of cycle of poverty and promoting social and economic development. Also believe that to ensure the efficiency and productivity of children, as well as security for a better future of the Nigerian child, swift action needs to be taken to address the education crisis. The House resolves to, 1, urge the federal government to increase the budgetary allocation to education to accommodate free basic education for Nigerian children. 2, also urge the Ministry of Education to ensure the realization of free basic education for all Nigerian children with no hidden charges or fees. Further urge the state government to actualize the right to free basic education in all states in Nigeria and mandate the compulsory enrollment of all children in their states. Again, urge the UBEC to prescribe the minimum standards for basic education with effective and strict monitoring of the standards and personnel audits of teaching and non-teaching staff. 5, also urge state enforcement agencies to hold children found loitering during school hours and have their parents face the appropriate consequences. Finally, mandate the Committee on Basic Education and Education and Services to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
And the seconder to this. A lot of people want to second this because it borders on education. Yesterday we had a huge debate on education. Today again. Let me give this opportunity to you. Deputy Chairman Finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Sayidu Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida, Kokacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to second the motion as ably moved by my brother, Honorable Alcala. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Those in support of this motion, say aye. You want amendment?
Mr. Speaker, I just want to call your attention to the fact that given the importance of this motion, I think it will not be out of order if you give room for little contribution from members. I appreciate the fact that we've had these conversations over and over, especially I know in the Ninth Assembly, we, out of concern for this particular problem, we dedicated a whole day to debating the issue of out-of-school children. And I think some of those efforts that we put forward over the years, I don't see them yielding the desired result. If we look at where we're coming from, I remember in 2020, when we did that, we were looking at numbers around 12 million, 13 million. But today, we are talking about 20 million out-of-school children in Nigeria. That makes us number one globally. So I think if we dedicate time to talk about this, it will not be out of order. Now, over the years, we've pushed a lot of resources to the education sector. It doesn't matter whether it's adequate, it can never be adequate given the problems that we have on ground. But I think we should be able to talk to ourselves. If we keep doing the same thing over and over, and we expect to get different results, there is no way it's going to happen that way. We've pushed lots of resources to this sector, especially at the level of the basic education, but the numbers keep going up by the day. So it means there is something that we're not doing rightly. I want to challenge the Committee on Basic Education, and thank God I think the Deputy Chairman is here. I want to challenge them to really sit down with the management of UBEC. Let us even know this effort that we've put in over the years, what has been the result? Why do we still keep having these numbers going up by the day? The factors that we've talked about over the years, not having adequate budgetary provision, social factors, and what have you. Some of those things, we've been talking about them. So it's been more plenty talks without movement. So I think, Mr. Speaker, it would be nice if you allow others to make contribution as far as this menace is concerned, because if we don't get it right, if we don't create opportunity for our children to get educated, whatever it is that we set out to achieve in terms of our national plans, it will be a mirage. We will never get to achieve any of them. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Position well laid. You know, after the motion is seconded, he's allowed to lead his debate. And you have commenced it for him, and I'm sure he's going to say, I am leading according to the motion paper, so that we can allow other ones to lead, but he's supposed to commence the leadership of the debate. I agree with you. Issue of education is of a great importance to us, and deliberating on it the need to do that cannot be overemphasized. We will give one or two people opportunity to talk about it, and then also look at the prayers and see if there is any amendment needed in the prayers within the boundaries of the legislature, federal legislature, especially when the state elements are there. Or do we restructure it in a way that we will not extend beyond the provisions of the principle of doctrine of separation of power? So those are the things we will look at when we deliberate on this now. So I would like comments. I will start from you because the motion came from you. Let's hear it from you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Yusuf Kure Baraje.
I'll be giving 2 minutes, not more than 2
Yes,
minutes.
Yusuf
So
Kure.
straight to the point.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, as a rider to what the Deputy Chairman of Finance have just said, I want to agree that, yes, a lot have been done in the area of education. Particularly, some times ago, the administration of Goodluck Jonathan came out with a robust idea of creating Almajiri schools. I want to restrict my discussion to my own constituency. In my constituency, a school for Almajiri school was constructed, well equipped, but up till then, Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that that school have not been put into use after 10 years after it was completed. I don't think the problem we have is founding of education. Is how we be able to judiciously use the little resources that goes to education effectively. I think that is the problem. If a school has been constructed, a clinic attached, a police station attached, everything is there, and nothing has been done 10 years down the line, then there's a problem in our educational development. So what the prayers I want to add here, Mr. Speaker, is that we should make effective use of all the Almajiri schools. If we are going to convert them to other conventional schools, so it be. But we cannot leave our infrastructure decaying while other areas are yearning for development. This is my submission, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for your intervention. We will, the leader wants to say something. Please, leader, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Professor Julius Ihonvere. My colleague who just spoke hit the nail on the head. Often we take issues in isolation of one another. In this country, if we do not pay attention to the character and quality of those we elect to man the state, all this talk we're talking here will never be implemented. Money has gone into basic education now than at any time, including the last 3 years. The Almajiri schools were built without consultation with those who were managing the Almajiri systems, and the government did not express interest. There's the BESDA scheme, which was brought in by the World Bank. The federal government took the facility, distributed it to the states. Nothing has happened. Why? You have governors who show absolutely no interest in education. They preside over states for 4 years and do not build one school, much less maintain the ones on ground. So I think we must have the courage at some point to sit with the executive and tell them the truth and how we feel. We are close to the people. We see the dilapidated buildings. We see schools with one teacher, schools without water. Mr. Speaker, it is a criminal offense to establish a school and put children there. No playground, no water. Nothing. And they just sit there. They go, you ask them, where do they ease themselves? They say, behind the building. In this country, this is not story. I was chairman of basic education, and we went around the states. So, Mr. Speaker, it would be nice, as we are finished, after the security summit, we should have either another summit on basic education, because that is the foundation. It is what you do at the basic level that you send to the tertiary to produce criminals, have bad children. They will go there, the first thing to do is to join the court so they can survive, given their limited education. So I think this is a very good bill. If it looks like we are talking to the states, I like to use the word urge. We have to urge them, but we also have to find a way. How can a state that collected money from UBEC, did not utilize it, get money the next year? There has to be some control. Finally, sir, you will not believe, in this country, UBEC will build a school facility for 500, 600 million, hand it over to a so-called governor, and the governor will let the entire building rot in Edo State. 14 buildings down. One was built in Kogi. The governor refused to use it on the ground, the former governor, that he has no money to pay teachers. I mean, the things going on in Nigeria is becoming too much, and this is why people are talking of this and that and that. we must sit down as a house, as the people's house, invite the governors and talk to them the way we think we should have a conversation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Nice intervention. But I don't know if we have that power to invite the governors of the states. Although the 8889 says we can summon anyone, we can bring anyone. It says anyone means anyone, anybody. That's what 8889 says. So if there's a national crisis in a particular sector, and on our stakeholders administration list, we happen to have prominent people that need to answer questions to address issues. 8889 might be where you rely on that if it gets to that, but I don't think it will get to that. I think they are leaders in their right. I think they also they are feeling the pain that we are feeling, but that is not without saying that what the leader said is not right. I was also a member of that committee when he was the chairman of the committee. And a lot needs to be done in that sector. The federal government is trying. The amount of money that is going out for education, if well utilized, I can assure you most of these motions around these issues will not be coming up. Yeah, nobody is monitoring the implementation of all these budgets that we are pushing to ensure that at the state level that they do what they're supposed to do, not only at the federal level. So this is a charge to the houses of assembly around the country. You need to wake up and prioritize on education. It's important that the houses of assembly, look into this seriously. You've spoken before. I want to get people who have not said anything.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker.
Make it 2 minutes, please.
And happy Valentine to my dear honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Engineer Dominic Ifeanyi Kafo. I speak for the people of Agata Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. I thank you, Honorable Akala, for this very important motion. I want to call our attention to the fact that the current insecurity we're having in this country, kidnapping and all the vices associated with that, as a result of all these out-of-school children. Because when children are not trained, they end up being a nuisance to the society. And I think I'm encouraging all of us, maybe we need to think out of the box, to come up with rules and laws, to make it compulsory for parents to ensure that their children at least get some minimum academic before they go into whatever they want to be in life. It's very unfortunate that a lot of our state governors embark on gigantic infrastructural development without paying attention to education. I'm using my state, Anambra State, as an example. The current governor has employed more than almost 10,000 teachers within his 2 years of administration. I am asking other governors to borrow a leaf from him, because without education, we are not going anywhere. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Let us hear from the gentleman in suits.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. My name is Clement Jimbo. I represent the people of Abak Etmekbo, Ika Federal Constituency. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Let me first commend the mover of this very important motion. Mr. Speaker, I interacted with my constituents, and I discovered that many of the things, the challenges that bedevil these people, especially as school children, are actually problems that we as representatives can equally solve if we so desire to solve. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, if you observe critically, even in your different constituencies, you will observe that many of our pupils in public schools use 2 to 3 exercise books to cover several subjects. That is because their parents can afford them. Part of the challenges they face in their different public schools is that there are no well-furnished classrooms, dilapidated classrooms everywhere. That is not conducive for people to stay and learn. Part of the solution we can equally bring to help the federal government and our dear country in this very critical sector is, I want to suggest to the entire House, can we devote, if not 100%, 50% of our zonal intervention projects to education sector in a particular budget cycle, that the House will resolve that every member will devote 50%, if not 100%, that let us equally help to tackle this critical sector of our development in this country. That is my suggestion, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I want to believe it will go down well with every member of the parliament. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's have Rufai. Honorable El Rufai.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Mohammed Bello El Rufai. I represent the good people of Kaduna North. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this great opportunity and, as usual with you, an educative session. I want to echo what the leader said earlier, Mr. Speaker, and what you added. Perhaps an engagement between the leadership and some state governors, be it at a geopolitical level, sir. Because, as you said, our job is to earmark funding, and we do that. But we all know the reality of state assemblies. Only a few state assemblies in this current dispensation and the ones before will actually have these honest conversations with state governors. So despite the fact that there's separation of powers, perhaps not as a House as a whole, but you, the Speaker, and the leadership could engage the state governors, because Nigerians out there, Mr. Speaker, look at us and blame us for an educational crisis at the primary level. That is not really our jurisdiction. Constitutionally, every member does his best, be it NECO fees, WAEC fees. Mr. Speaker, in Kaduna State, my father, when he was governor, as you recall, tried to test primary 4 teachers that failed exams. And it was a scandal, and he was, as usual, attacked by many, commended by many, like you. My current leader, the governor of the state, as my elder brother from Anambra said, the state, Kaduna State currently has what you call educational marshals. Mr. Speaker, their job is to go out, find out-of-school children loitering, and actually drag them to school. There's also the cultural dynamic, and I'm ashamed to say it's more prevalent in maybe the Northwest in particular, by every indices, where children are out of school. Some parents would rather encourage the children to go and trade. And I agree with leader, it is a crime against the state, because a child, when it comes to education, is actually the product of the state, not the family. So, Mr. Speaker, please, the governors are key in this. So after we pass the budget, I'm thinking strategically here as a leadership, I think it will be wise, be it to engage the Northern Governors Forum, and you speak to them and tell them the honest truth of what happens after we pass the budget. It is pointless. Honorable Clement made a point, even if we dedicate our constituency or zonal intervention by 50%, which I have an issue with, because the problems of education in my state might not be as bad as in Lagos State. So it's not a one-cap-fits-all here. But finally, Mr. Speaker, I stand with Honorable Akala as a young parliamentarian, and we try to unite and form a bloc. This is an excellent motion, and I thank you once again for this opportunity and this great session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. As young parliamentarian, are you in support of free education that is being proposed by a friend Akala?
Mr. Speaker, if the question is to me, might I answer it directly, sir? Should I answer it directly to now?
It was a direct question.
Okay, sir.
As a young parliamentarian,
Yes, sir. Mr.
your
Speaker.
colleague is proposing free education
Mr. Speaker, I'll
at the
answer.
basic education level. Are you in support of that?
Yes, sir, I am. I think it already is. As you rightly said, it's not being implemented. Education should be free from the basic level. That's primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, JS1, JS2, JS3. I believe in that, Mr. Speaker. Now, whether we have the funding for that is a question left for more experienced lawmakers like you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your intervention. Nice one, I must say. Back to you, the man who insisted we must debate this issue.
Thank you once again.
Deputy Finance.
I think the arguments have been heard, and really and truly, I want us to look at this issue differently. My senior colleague, the former chairman of basic education, talked about having an educational
Valentine man, where are you going? Sit down.
And really and truly, as a people and as a country, I think we should get to a point where we say enough of the talks and let's swing into action. We've had lots of talk shows as far as this issue is concerned, but where has it taken us to? I think that should be the key thing. Have we been able to achieve our set out objectives by having talk shows? I don't think the answer would be in the affirmative. So really and truly, I think just like I stated earlier, the Committee on Basic Education need to get to work. They need to appreciate their mandate. They have the powers to interface even with the state. The intervention from UBIC is a marriage between federal government and the state. The intervention is a counterpart funding arrangement between the federal government and the state. And UBIC has a yardstick for measuring performances of states. States are not meeting up. There are ways that they can be dealt with. So I think really and truly, we should just be mindful of our actions. We should take more actions and talk less. We've had lots of talk shows. We've talked about a lot about this. Like I said, in the 9th Assembly, a whole day, a plenary day was dedicated to talking about the issue of out-of-school children. But what has been the end result? So I think this is what we should take back home. Let's swing into action. Let's do things, let's approach these things differently. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think we've gotten 4 debates on this, but I will waive my position and allow honorable member to say a word in 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Adam Hashim Maranga, representing Ningiwaji Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, yes, I'm of the opinion to have a free education in Nigeria, but the process of implementation must be changed. And the reason why is that sometimes at the local government level, when a school had a problem and the ES went to the chairman will say, this issue is with the state primary basic education. He cannot do anything on a small complaint forwarded to him. As well as if you went to the state, they will say, in terms of infrastructure, we cannot maintain any structure until when an approval is given from the federal government. So therefore, what I want to highlight here is that there is the need for involvement of the parliamentarians in the implementation of free education in each state, simply because you are representing your entire constituency here. And the federal government give a directives for the implementation, as well as the state. If we are involved in the planning and in the planning stage and implementation, I believe things will go successfully. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For amendment, leader, please, I want you to add an amendment to these prayers as number 7, asking that the leadership of the House organize a basic education summit. Remember in 9th Assembly, we did tertiary education. It's not what the committee can do. The leadership of the House should organize a basic education summit, because this conversation, we cannot end it here. That way we'll bring in stakeholders from the education space, and we'll be able to hear more from them, know their challenges. That would be a good forum to bring some of those governors who are doing well to come and tell us their experience. I like when I had education marshals in Kaduna State. It's very impressive outing. You know, with education marshals, they all grab people from the street. One of the leaders who made impact on these out-of-school children was the governor of Akwa Ibom State. When he was there, the uncommon governor, the now president of the Senate. He needed to go to Akwa Ibom in those days, and he needed to see the number of children who were, just packaged to become maids and drivers and gate men. But today they are professionals because one man, a governor, insisted to change the whole story, the narratives. And I think it's doable. We can take the template from people like him and those who are already doing well. At the moment, I think it was Gombe. Gombe is doing well also in education. Prof, you remember when we were in the committee? That was one of the states that we went and they were excellent in what they were putting together for the basic education. We can achieve this. So that summit will be a robust platform to engage, to deliberate, and then come out with a resolution that might give birth to laws, amendment of existing laws, creation of new laws, and other systems that will help us achieve the intention of this motion. Having said that, please, leader, move that we amend this to include this.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonville. Before I do that quickly, let me also mention, based on what I said earlier, that there are some states that are doing well. Gombe State, miracle in education sector is going there without a lot of noise. To the point that there's a community they used to call Gumbia, which I was told means Wayo. If you see the school the governor built there, and it has changed the character of community engagement in that area. The children now want to go to that school because it's so beautiful, with facilities for play, water, you name it, and teachers. That governor needs to be commended any day. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, allow me to make an amendment that we include in the prayers of Honorable Akala's beautiful motion. We need to, that we urge the leadership of the House, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, to convoke a summit on basic education in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Honorable Malaki.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, Aliyu Sani Madaki is my name, and I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. I stand to second the motion that the leadership of the House should organize a basic education summit. I do second.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The motion is referred to Committee on Basic Education and Services. The 12th order of the day is a motion on the need for construction of a pedestrian bridge at Enekwasumpu along Onitsha Enugu Expressway, standing in the name of Honorable Uchenna Harris Okonkwo. Honorable Okonkwo is invited to move the motion, but remember, it's infrastructure motion. We just need the title and the prayers, please. We don't have time. We want to leave here 2:30, 2:45.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. My name is Uchenna Harris Okonkwo. I speak for the people of Idemili North and South, that is in Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise on this day of love on the need to move a motion on the need for construction of a pedestrian bridge at Enekwasumpu along Onitsha Enugu Expressway. Mr. Speaker, this is an infrastructural motion of cruciality and could save lives. With your kind leave, if I could take 2 paragraphs of importance to give more depth.
Go to your prayers.
Thank you very much,
Your appeal
sir.
is rejected.
The House resolves to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to prioritize the inclusion of the construction of pedestrian bridge at Enekwasomp along the Onitsha-Enugu Expressway in the 2025 budget estimates. The House resolves and urge the Federal Road Safety Corps to intensify road safety awareness campaigns in the vicinity and other highways. And the House mandates the Committees on Works, Appropriation, and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance as well as adequate budgetary allocation. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you very much. Any seconder to this motion? Ajilo, you have spoken before. I'm looking for those who have not spoken. Yeah, the man with the green cap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Sesi Oluwaseun Wingan, member representing Badagry Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Lagos State. I stand to support the motion moved by my esteemed colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Amendment to that? It's a breach. There's nothing to amend there. It's a breach in his community. You can come with your own motion. I just put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You want to build a new bridge there? These motions are referred to Committee on Works, Appropriation, and Legislative Compliance. The young parliamentarians, you're on fire today. And that is commendable. You're on fire. I can see your names everywhere here. It means you really came to build the nation. So proud of you, so proud of you, so proud of you. The 13th order of the day is a motion on need to ban the use and distribution of styrofoam and single-use plastic across the country. Standing in the name of Honorable Mokhtar Shagaya. Honorable Shagaya is invited to move the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished, honorable, reliable, and ever resilient colleagues, I remain Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya. I represent Nigerians, starting from Ilorin West, Asa, Federal Constituency of Kwara State.
Honorable Jimmy, approach the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to ban the use of and distribution of styrofoam and single-use plastics across the country. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the provisions of Section 20 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, place a responsibility on the federal government to protect and improve the environment for present and future generations and ensure the health and well-being of its citizens. The House also notes that the increasing use of styrofoam and single-use plastics in Nigeria poses significant environmental and public health risks, including pollution of waterways, soil, and air quality. The House further notes that chemicals found in styrofoam is linked to health issues such as cancer, vision and hearing loss, impaired memory and concentration, and nervous system effects. Honorable colleagues, the House is aware that styrofoam is prohibited in Taiwan, Rwanda, England, and many other European countries, together with some towns and states in the United States. Currently, the product is illegal in our very own Lagos and Abia states. The House is also aware that alternatives to styrofoam and single-use plastics, such as biodegradable materials, reusable containers, and recyclable packaging can reduce environmental impact and public health risks. The House is concerned that the increasing use of styrofoam and single-use plastics in Nigeria not only leads to the increased plastic waste and environmental pollution, but also poses a significant environmental and public health risk. The House is concerned that the increasing use of styrofoam and single-use plastics in Nigeria not only leads to the increased plastic waste and environmental pollution, but also poses a significant environmental and public health risk. poses significant health risks. The House is cognizant that the need to address the environmental and public health crises posed by styrofoam and single-use plastics to safeguard the future of Nigeria's natural resources, ecosystems, health, and well-being of its citizens. Therefore, the House resolves to 1, urge the federal government to ban the production, importation, distribution, and use of styrofoam and single-use plastics throughout Nigeria. 2, also urge the federal government to implement a phased approach to the ban by providing sufficient time for businesses and industries to transition to alternative, eco-friendly materials and practices. 3, also urge the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, and other relevant agencies to monitor the quality of packaging of foods and beverages, particularly in fast-moving consumer goods, FMCGs, ensuring global best practices are followed and all appropriate regulations guiding the whole process are adhered to. And finally, mandate the House Committee on Health Services, Environment, and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Beautiful motion. Any seconder to this motion? Honorable Jimmy, second this motion.
Thank you very much.
Because your state is doing well.
Exactly, sir.
Lagos State is doing well on
And
this.
Abia too.
And Abia State, my state is doing well. Yeah.
Thank you very
Kano
much.
is doing well on this. This is impressive.
The red Kano too is doing well.
So do we have
red part
a
of
third instead of second, after second, third? And maybe somebody from Abia will do fourth, because we can only have second. Just go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Baba Jimmy Benson. I represent the good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency of Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this most important, most relevant motion ably moved by one of these youth parliamentarians, Mukhtar Shagaya. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Before I ask the question, any amendment? There is one amendment. When you mention Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, it falls under the Committee of Commerce. All right? So when you are talking about implementation and you are referring to committees on healthcare, environment, and legislative compliance, it's important that you put also Commerce Committee there. Commerce and Industry as well. If there's Committee on Industry, Committee on Commerce, we have to put that. So I would like the Deputy Whip of the House to move that this amendment becomes added to number 4 of the prayer, that Committee on Commerce and Industry should become part of the House committees to carry out this
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly
duty.
respected colleagues, my name is Right Honorable Dr. Yeyoba Otumba Adewumi Oriyomi Ononuga. I represent the fabulous United People of Ikene, Shagamu, and Rema North. I am from Ogun State, and I stand to amend that. I stand to amend to add an amendment I start to amend
number 5
number 5.
to include
Number 4. Resolution number 4.
yes, number 4.
To include the committees of Commerce and Industry to the Commerce and Industry to the committees that would ensure compliance.
Thank you very much. Any second, can you second, please, Osodinobi, please? Second this one first. This is an amendment. Second it first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable George Ibezima Kozodinobi. I represent the good people of Njikoka and Ochadunukofia Federal Constituency. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by the Deputy Whip. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You have amendment, Chief Osodinobi.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for recognizing me the second time. I remain George Ibezima Kozodinobi, representing Jikoka Nocha Federal Constituency. My amendment to this very wonderful motion is to add as number 5 the compensation to our brothers and sisters who have already invested in this industry over time. And we are going to also move people into unemployment bracket. I want, as a result, to put as an amendment to compile the names of industries who are producing this, not the importers, who are producing this in the country, on a way to compensate for their investment over time. I so move.
Thank you. Akala, you have something to say to that effect?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
He's saying that in the spirit of supporting entrepreneurship in Nigeria, many people invested in this particular sector without knowing that it's going to be banned or it is injurious to the environment. So I think he wants to respond with maybe one of his prayers.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Olam John Alawakala, representing the group of motion North South Area constituency. Mr. Speaker, from Oyo State. My colleague, if you look at prayer number 2, it says there already that we also urge the federal government to implement a phased approach. A phased approach, meaning giving them time to switch from one to one, not changing them out. So they can still take their profits from whatever they are doing now to be changing it gently. We are not rushing them out at once. It is a phased approach to the ban by providing sufficient time.
All right, thank you.
For businesses and industries to transition.
Thank you. I think you are concerned, which is a genuine concern, I must say, because losses in the entrepreneurial space will discourage more entry into that space. And all we've been asking in this country is that we use small and medium scale industries who are majorly involved in this kind of production to come in because they bridge the gap, especially with regards to our unemployment rate. They are the highest employers of labor. So if you shut them out without providing a landing space for them, it will be mostly injurious to their financial state of affairs. And but the motion was well, crafted. That the second prayer took care of your concern, and I'm sure there'll be no need for further amendment to that motion if we consider the prayer number 2. So I'll just put the question. Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to Committee on Health Services, Committee on Environment, Committee on Commerce and Industry, and Legislative Compliance. Thank you very much, honorable colleagues. We have come to the last motion of the day before we go into Committee of the Whole that will take only 15 minutes and will be done. And this is an infrastructure motion, so we're going to speak it up as well. The 14th order of the day is a motion on need to revisit the abandoned wind power farm. The project aimed at generating 10 megawatts of electricity for the national grid at national grid in Lambarimi, Katsina State. This is standing in the name of our most distinguished colleague, Honorable Murtala Osman Banye. Honorable Banye is invited to move the motion. It's an infrastructure-related motion. We just want the title, and we'll look at the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again,
I am Honorable Architect Usman Murtala Banye, member representing people of Batagarawa, Cherenchi, Rimi Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Katsina State. Mr. Speaker, though, is an infrastructural motion, but it's a motion that covers the economic sector of the whole Northwest. So, Mr. Speaker, I may like to at least address some, because I have some elders that wanted to add up.
No, it's a motion on notice. Just go to the prayers.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, this motion is on the need to revisit the abundant wind power farm, a project aimed at generating 10 megawatts of electricity for the national grid in Lambarimi, Katsina State. The House should note that the wind power project was envisioned by the Katsina State government to produce 10 megawatts of electricity in 2005 and later taken over by the federal government in 2007 by the administration of the late President Madam Umar Musa Adwa to boost sustainable and renewable energy for better environment. Also note that the contract was awarded by the Federal Ministry of Power to French firm Vegnet SA, a certified wind turbine manufacturer under close supervision of consultant Otis Energy and German firm Terawatts. Further note that the 10 megawatt farm power project located at Lambarimi is made up of 37 installed turbines capable of generating 273 kilowatts each, to be operational at the calculated wind speed of
Okay, go to your prayers.
6.044 meter per second at the height of 55 meters.
To your prayers, please.
Mr. Speaker, the House should resolve to mandate the Committee on Power, Works, Finance, Environment, Public Procurement, and Interior to investigate the disastrous loss of taxpayers' money on the abundant wind power farm project and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you. Any seconder to this motion? Yes. No, I want somebody who has not spoken. Chief Romorum. We are coming. Let him second first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Right Honorable Kabira Rasorurum. I represent Honorable Kuda Kipe Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Kano. I rise to second this very important motion as moved by Honorable Architect Banye. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a straightforward motion, and I'm supposed to put the question through, but I'm going to allow my dear friend behind to make an amendment to that. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I'm Honorable Architect Mohammed Mukhtar Zannan Kazauri, member representing Kazauri Roni Gwiwa Mkwashi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to amend the prayer that mandates the Committee on Power, Works, Finance, Environment, Public Procurement, and Interior to add up with public accounts because it deals with investigation. It deals with investigation. So, Mr. Okay, let me come up again, Mr.
Yeah,
Speaker.
I just want to hear your amendment. Sorry, I was distracted by...
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I rise to make amendments on the prayer on the committees to investigate the dealings of this power firm. So, power firm. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise to add up Committee on Public Accounts because it deals with investigation. Because he says Committee on Power, Works, Finance, Environment, Public Procurement, and Interior. So to investigate the disastrous loss of taxpayers' money. So I think, Mr. Speaker, public accounts should be included. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
You know, public account doesn't need motion.
Yeah, but...
you know, public account, you can, once you have seen it on the paper now, you just note it down. You know what public account committee, what they do is they come here, they listen.
Yeah.
They are like the watchdog of the government. So when they listen and they hear something that is happening, and an agency that has not fulfilled what they're supposed to fulfill, they note it down. When they go back to their secretary, they write them. They don't need any motion to bring anybody to appear before them because they a constitutionally recognized committee of the House. So they are the watchdog. They rely on the provisions of that constitution and then invite anybody they want to invite to appear before them on issues of national importance. I think you have a superior power that is constitutionally based than motion based. Don't bring down your power. Don't water it down. So just take the note from here, go back to your public account and invite them. You are free to do that. It doesn't matter what the committee is doing. Invite them. It's your duty. I think it's clear, right? Amendment. Thank you very much.
Amendment.
This is a straightforward motion. Why are we having all this amendment on
Amendment.
it? Let me hear you.
Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Salis Yusuf Majigiri. I represent Mashidu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Katsina State. This motion is a very important motion, Mr. Speaker, and to generate 10 megawatts for Katsina State is a big task, and I think it's a good development for the Federal Republic of Nigeria to have a 10 megawatt generated from wind power. My amendment is just to add in the prayer the renewable energy, House Committee on Renewable Energy.
I didn't hear that.
House Committee on Renewable Energy
to
be part of the committees that will handle the
I agree with you.
It's very relevant,
nice in order.
very, very important.
Nice in order.
And also Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance, because this is a very, very important project that needs to be commissioned as soon as possible. 99% of the project has been completed. It's only 1%, and we want to know why. What is happening with this very important?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You've made your point. We need a seconder. Maki, second it.
My point is, I want to amend his own amendment.
Okay, sit down.
Yes.
Sit down. Okay, Ajilo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, Umar Ajilo is my name. Makanpikudan Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion of amendment. Ably moved by my senior brother. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mark your amendment again.
Yes, sir. My amendment is, if you can bring a renewable energy into it, then power should step aside. Yes. Because they cannot go and be doing the same work. Renewable energy is part of power. Of course, yes.
Okay.
Power is not supposed to be there if confirmed we agree.
You know that that amendment has gone through. So the gavel has gone down on it, so we cannot debate that amendment again because the House has voted on it. I don't think I want to take any other amendment on this. I don't think I want to take another amendment on this.
Who will be the lead committee?
Shagaya, didn't you move this motion? Okay, you moved the other one. Okay, let's hear Shagaya before Jimmy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm actually coming under Order 8, Rule 6, personal explanation.
No.
Okay.
No. Please, Honorable Jimmy, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I have an amendment and a comment to make, sir. I've looked at the prayers. It has power, Committee on Power. It had works, Committee on Works, Committee on Finance, Committee on Environment, Committee on Public Procurement, on a very, very critical national issue. Sir, this power generation Nigeria is 6,000 megawatts. This is a standalone project that has a capacity or capability to generate 10 megawatts in Honorable Sada Soli's Katsina. I believe that the Committee of renewable energy should be strengthened to be able to handle a subject matter under its jurisdiction. Adding power, works, finance, environment, public procurement, and so on and so forth, I think waters down the essence of creating that Committee on Renewable Energy. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please, information. Okay, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker,
Remember,
why-
we have a guest from
why-
Saudi Arabia. I have to rush to be with them, please.
Yes, indeed.
Let's not debate this too much.
Indeed. Why power is here? Because TCN is handling this project, and TCN reports to Federal Ministry of Power. But it is within the purview of renewable energy. And that's why we brought in the Committee on the Renewable Energy, so that they will have an input and they will know what are the issues of renewable energy content in the project. But why power? Because the TCN is handling the project. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
But the Renewable Energy Committee can approach TCN. They can.
Mr. Speaker, instead of approaching them to get information, why not they are on the same table?
Good idea as well. Leader, I don't think you want to speak on this.
Mr. Speaker,
We don't have time.
I know. But you see what we are doing now, we are overlooking something which is the bane of Nigeria.
Okay.
He says billions went down the drain. Who chopped that money? And you see, that it is not, if we don't do this.
Is chop
they
parliamentary
don't-
word?
Chop is an English word. Chop is an English word. And it's a Nigerian lexicon. People chop that money and they are riding big cars and influencing politics for people who should be doing more damage. The Committee on Economic Crimes should always be with such investigations and activities of the past, so that the criminals will go to jail straight and these people will not repeat what they have done. We don't do this. There are over 30,000 abandoned projects in Nigeria. We just put more money and they start afresh. The criminals, let me stop there, sir. We don't have time.
I think we will add renewable energy to this legislative compliance to this and allow it as it is. Let them be a joint committee. It's a serious matter. Let all of them come there. Send their representative. Each committee should send about two or three persons. Let them be there to answer to all the issues raised. Because if we narrow it down to only renewable energy now, the other ones might make his life difficult, where he'll be struggling to get information from power, and somebody might be telling them to ignore them. They should pass through us. So let everybody be on the table. So we have amended, and it has been seconded, adding renewable energy, right? It has been seconded. All right. Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Lead committee.
The motion is referred to Committee on power, works, finance, environment, public procurement, interior, renewable energy, and legislative compliance to form a joint committee to renewable energy and legislative compliance. It will be in the form of a joint committee to look into this for this particular motion. Now, if you want to do for the whole Nigeria, you can come with another motion. You would have amended it when you will call for amendment. All right? The 15th order of the day is consideration of 5 reports standing in the name of House Leader. House Leader will move for their consideration. House Leader, please. House Leader, make it fast. We have to see our guests by 3 o'clock.
All right. I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Cybercrimes Prohibition Prevention etc. Act, CAP, C, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, SB 188, be considered by this committee of the whole. Are we not going to first dissolve into committee of the whole?
You are moving that we should do for consideration first, and it will be seconded. Then you will move for committee of the whole. So, Mayaki, please, second.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Aliyu Sanima Adaki, and I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. I stand to second that the bill for an act to amend the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention Act be considered. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
House Leader moved that the House will resolve into committee of the whole to consider the 5 reports. 5 reports.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that we resolve into committee of the whole to consider the 5 reports as listed in the other paper. I so move.
Seconder.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion that the report number 15 to 19 be considered. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby resolve into the committee of the whole. The first bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention etc. Act 2015. And for related matters, I invite the leader to give the synopsis of this bill. Leader, you have only 1 minute. 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We know who you are. Just go straight to the synopsis.
I think this bill, we've spoken a lot about it, is basically to update an existing law, 2004 law, that is almost becoming obsolete, and they're bringing up to terms with contemporary technology and issues in that sector. I urge your colleagues to support it so that it will pass to the committee of the whole. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please, second, please. Oh, you don't need to second, it's a synopsis. Now, we just go into the bill. The question is that 14 clauses of this bill be made part of this act. Clause 1, Clause 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 14. No, 10 to 13. Explanatory memorandum, long title.
With due respect, Mr. Chairman, with due respect.
Yes, please, go ahead.
We have just, with due respect, we have just, because this is very dynamic legislation in a very dynamic environment. We have just had a testimony of the Secretary to the government where they are alleging the forging of the signature of the president to siphon $6.2 million. $6.2 million is getting to about 15 billion naira. And then if incidents should happen like that and you find somebody 15 million naira, I don't mind stealing 15 billion naira and be fined 15 million naira. I think we should strengthen this law by putting, because those that are committing this crime are highly sophisticated people with a huge investment, capital investment in this cyber crime. So we must strengthen the fine. I can give 15 million naira not to go to jail for 5 years. I can give 15 million naira to embezzle 15 billion naira. So I think we should look at it carefully, because when this amendment took place, 15 million naira is not up to $10,000. Today, 15 million naira is $10,000. What is $10,000 if I can embezzle $6.5 million? So I think we should strengthen it, because society is evolving, the crime is becoming more sophisticated, then also technology is taking over the society. So I think we should look at it. I'm not saying it, but at least we should look at it.
Are you saying that we should increase 10 million?
I think we should look at the fines. We should look at the fines. I don't have a figure to say it, but I'm just throwing it.
Is your proposal that we increase the 10 million?
No, yes, let the House take a decision on that, but I'm just throwing these discussions so that we can look at it.
Over to you, Chairman, Nigeria Security and Intelligence. Although we have carried, but we can rescind. If we decide to do this, we'll rescind and go back. Okay?
Thank you, sir. I think Honorable Sada Soli is right, sir. But if we can look at it to maybe remove the fine and increase the terms of the jail term to maybe 15 years imprisonment or 20 years. That's going to be no fines, yes. Yes. But I remember we are concurring, I don't know, it's a Senate version, so I think unless if we are dragging it back and then the urgency of it. So you can decide, Mr. Chairman, sir, because you're Senate.
This law should come via amendment. Let's leave it as it is at the moment, especially when we have passed. You can come via amendment after it becomes a law. We can amend it. Okay? The second bill to be considered is for an act to amend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act (CAP) N30 Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to strengthen the operations of the agency, empower the agency to establish laboratories, update the list of dangerous drugs, review the penalty provisions, enhance the power of the agency to prosecute drug-related offenses, and issue subsidiary legislation and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of this bill in 1 minute, please. Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I want to pray that God will continue to bless those who propose this bill. It's long overdue. The quantity of dangerous drugs are going on around Nigeria, fake drugs, capsules that contain nothing. They are being sold, advertised, etc. I urge my colleagues to please let's pass this. From the title, strengthen the agency, update the list of dangerous drugs, and increase penalties, as well as enhance the power of the agency to prosecute drug-related offenses and issue subsidiary legislation. I think
it's straightforward.
Thank
It's
you,
straight
sir.
to the point. So the question is that 31 clauses be made part of this act. Clause 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 31. That is 20 to 30. Short title. The third bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Apugo, Nkanu West, Enugu State, and for related matters. This is straightforward to the point. I don't think leader need to bother himself about this. Let me have the bill, please. Just 3 clauses. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, explanatory memorandum, short title. The fourth bill to be considered is for an act to establish the Federal University of Science and Technology, Remo, Ogun State, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. I invite the leader to give synopsis of the bill. It's also straight to the point. It's an establishment bill. Let's not bother the leader with that. 26 clauses be made part of the act. That is what is asking for. Clause 1, Clause 2, 3 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 25, 26, 27, 28, 26, shadows, short title, the fifth bill to be considered is for an act to establish Federal College of Education, Omo Aron, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instruction and training in technology, applied science, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to provide for the appointment of provosts and other officers of the college to carry out the discipline of students, administration of the college, and for related matters. I invite the leader. Leader, we don't need to invite you. It's an establishment that let us go through it. Can I have the bill? 23 clauses, that 23 clauses be made part of the bill. Clause 1, 2 to 10, 10 to 20, 21, 22, 23, explanatory memorandum, shadows. Is that enough? House leader moved that the House reverse to plenary to consider reports.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to move that the House do reserve to plenary and for the chairman to report to the House.
Thank you very much. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I stand to second the motion that the House do revert back to plenary. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of this say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby reverts to plenary to consider a report from the Committee of the Whole. Honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on the bill for an act to amend the Cybercrime Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Act, Cap C, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 13, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House and Committee of the Whole consider the report on the bill for an act to amend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Cap and 30 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to strengthen the operations of the agency empower the agency to establish laboratories, update the list of dangerous drugs, review the penalty provisions, enhance the power of the agency to prosecute drug-related offenses, and issue subsidiary legislation and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 31, the schedule, and the long title of the bill. Honorable colleagues, the House in Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act to establish Federal Medical Center Apugo, Nkanu West, Enugu State, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 3, the schedule, and the long title of the bill. Honorable colleagues, the House in Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Science and Technology, Remo, Ogun State, to make provision for comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 26, the schedules, and the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the House in Committee of the Whole consider the report on a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Education or more around to provide full-time courses, teaching, instructions, and training in technology, applied sciences, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to provide for the appointment of the provost and other officers of the college to carry out the discipline of students, administration of the college, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 23, the schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Leader, please move that we waive the provisions of the order of the House of our rules to have the third reading of the bill on the cybercrime. Before that, the report from the Committee of the Whole is hereby adopted as a working instrument of the House of Representatives. Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House consider the bill on cyber crimes that has just been passed to be read the third time.
No, before that, I say move that the House adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Not adopted. Oh, sorry. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House to adopt the report made that by the Speaker.
Thank you very much. Please second it.
Mr. Speaker,
thank you. Those in support that the House do adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the House of Representatives say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The report of the House of Committee is hereby adopted as our working instrument. Leader, please move that the House waive the provisions of the House rules to take the third reading of the 5 reports that were just laid now, please.
Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I rise to move that the House do waive the relevant rules to allow for the third reading of the 5 bills we just passed.
Thank you, Leader. Majority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion that we suspend the relevant rules and take the 5 bills for third reading.
Thank you very much. Minority Leader. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk, you are invited to move the third reading of these bills.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. A bill for an act to amend the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention ETC Act Cap C, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to amend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Cap N30, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to strengthen the operations of the agency, empower the agency to establish laboratories, update the list of dangerous drugs, review the penalty provisions, enhance the power of the agency to prosecute drug-related offenses and issues, subsidiary legislation, and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Akubo, Nkanu West, Enugu State and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Science and Technology, Remo, Ogun State, and to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Omuaran, to provide full-time courses teaching, instruction, and training in technology, applied science, arts, social sciences, humanities, and management, and to provide for the appointment of the provost and other officers of the college to carry out the discipline of student administration of the college and for related matters, third reading.
Thank you, Clerk. A bill for an act to amend the Cybercrime Prohibition, Prevention, etc. Act, Cap C, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, SB 188, read and pass. A bill for an act to amend the Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act, Cap N30, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to strengthen the operations of the agency, empower the agency to establish laboratories, update the list of dangerous drugs, review the penalty provisions, enhance the power of the agency to prosecute drug-related offenses and issues, subsidiary legislations, and for related matters, HB 472, read and pass. The bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act to establish Federal Medical Center Apugo, Nkanu West, Enugu State, and for related matters, HB 670, read and pass. The bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Science and Technology, Reno, Ogun State, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration for related matters, HB 111, read and pass. A bill for an act to establish Federal College of Education, Omuaran, to provide full-time courses, teaching, instructions, and training in technology, applied science, arts, social science, humanities, and management, and to provide for the appointment of the provost and other officers of the college to carry out the discipline of students, administration of the college, and the related matters. HB 185, read the third time and pass. Leader, please move that this House be adjourned till tomorrow, same time, 11 o'clock.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do adjourn till tomorrow, same time, same venue, and so move.
Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I stand to second the motion that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, same time, same venue. I do second.
Most distinguished colleagues, I must really appreciate you and your sacrifices. For you to be here from beginning till now, even on a Valentine's Day, shows that you really, really love your nation, just like I do. You may not be wearing the red caps like those in Kwakwansia are wearing today, and the people from the southeast are wearing today. We are used to seeing those red caps on their head, but I know your heart is red, filled with love for this great nation. Thank you for this sacrifice, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Whatever we do for this country can never be a waste. It is a brick that we add to the wall of nation building. Those in support of this motion for adjournment say aye. Those against say nay. The nays will stay and the ayes will go for Valentine. The House is hereby adjourned till tomorrow, same time.